they didn't have the 9th rule on there, Kevin, and that is HyuN wins.
Yeah, pretty much all
Apparently,
the time.
see, all right,
12 weeks
so
in a row.
Here he is, guys, in the top left, the man, the legend, the god himself. It is HyuN. I went for the God of War-esque attitude there.
Nice.
It kind of came off, and then at the end, it kind of just cascaded into excessiveness.
Well, it kind of like went into sultry whisper at the end, too,
yeah,
which was weird. Like
excessive, yeah, completely.
Welcome to the IPL phone sex line. I'm sorry, I took that way too far. Anyway,
it was very appropriate because we're talking about HyuN here. So.
Yes.
But yeah, guys, you know, so many people are supporting HyuN, so that's, you know, you may be like this biased caster, Kibbles, I'm hating him, but really, like, so many people are just like so for HyuN right now. I feel like I gotta give this guy a little love. Down here, in the bottom left-hand corner, the gentleman, of 2 base all-ins, but really he's a fantastic player all around. Guys, from Team MVP, it is Finale.
Well, I'm the one who put HyuN Club up at the top, so that's my bad.
God, you bandwagoner.
Yeah, maybe. He's good. He's good.
HyuN is fantastic, without a doubt, guys. As is echoed by, you know, the 86% you said it was, 86, 84?
It was 86-14 when we started this, so I mean, I can check the live report thread here again in a second, but yes. So we're back on Entomb Valley. This is another one of those maps. It's kind of like Metropolis in the sense that you have destructible rocks which actually guard the path over to the 3rd. And so it's pretty easy for Protoss players to go up to a quick 3-base if they want. Conversely, it's also pretty easy for Protoss players to segregate a Zerg player's 3rd and actually get into their 3rd before they're able to really get that up and saturated or get units ready for it and try and hit some sort of a very quick 2-base all-in.
So maybe, you know, Finale wanted to play a little bit more of a straight-up game until he saw these spawning positions. And then he went, well, we're pretty close. So we're going to have to see exactly what his plan is here. We know that he's going to be starting off with a very fast Nexus, as he's currently sitting at 17 supply and 450 minerals. So there it is, Nexus going down.
All right, well, then that's the Nexus. Forge is already done, so we'll have that cannon in a nice, timely manner. And, you know, I don't really expect anything weird out of HyuN. HyuN is a guy who can adapt very well, but he's also a guy who, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if something's working, he'll just do it over and over and over again.
That's, you know, completely true. I actually wouldn't be surprised at all if this is also, guys, a fantastic map for Speedlings, not just because it's really wide and open out in the middle. It's actually in some ways better than Metropolis for this strategy, but also because of the prime real estate for counterattacks. It's a fantastic map to utilize the mobility that Speedlings have to offer. So I would not be surprised, Kevin, to see HyuN go for Speedling, a large quantity of Speedlings once again here.
All right, well, we'll see if he does just that. Finale has already switched things up, though. He decided to put down a much later 3 gas this time around. Just a nice, conventional, normal double gas at the same time. Everything hitting pretty standard for him. So don't see anything out of the ordinary for HyuN either. He's just saving up his drones. Once he's got about 35, he'll drop down 2 gas. HyuN, though, historically always puts his gas down at his natural.
Yeah, actually had a conversation with TLO about this once. We saw him putting the gas down at the natural at one of the Play Him tournaments back in the day, and it was kind of like, you know, why do you do this? And he says, well, you've got the gases down to the low ground, your opponent comes in and scouts it. Now they don't know if you have 4 gases or 2, and the natural's always easier to scout than the main in almost every circumstance. So they come in, they see the 2 gases, and they say, well, I don't know if you have 2 in your main or not. Whereas if they come down to your natural expansion and, you know, sack a Zergling into it, and, well, they see 2 gases not taken, they know you're sitting on just a maximum of 2 gases in your main. So
that's a good point.
Not a surprise to see HyuN doing the same, and a lot of Zerglings as of late have actually been picking that up. But let us digress from that as we now see that Finale has once again dropped a Stargate.
Yep, a little bit different timing, but you know, and he's disguising it pretty well too. We'll see how quickly HyuN actually ducks in here, but he's producing sentries, and he's got gas coming up. Well, I guess he's got gas coming up at about the right time. I don't know if that Overlord actually got over there to detect a lack of +1 weapons, but the sentries is kind of interesting. So usually you want to expend that much gas, but of course Finale doing things a little bit different is kind of his trademark. HyuN, another little thing to note about him, as you saw him picking away at the neutral supply depot, Josh actually pointed this out to me first. HyuN will attack a neutral supply depot every time with his queen, light it on fire, and then turn away and let it burn to the ground. So he never finishes it off with his queens or Zerglings. He just hates Terran that much that he wants to watch their structures burn.
That's excellent. Wow. I want to watch that happen more often now.
The more you know.
Yeah, really. But, all right, so something I just saw out of Finale that I really wanted to mention is that he did not want to stop sentry production at all. And that really shows how much he's respecting HyuN here, because he actually started +1 weapons and then went to make a sentry. We saw him click on the gateway, and then he clicked back on the forge and canceled the +1 and then started making another sentry. Now we see he's not making sentries, but he's researching +1. So it's not so much that he wants as many sentries out as possible. It really shows his lack of respect for HyuN, the possibility of HyuN throwing it all in him, and his need for 2 sentries. So if he needs, he can force field.
All right. Well, you know, he's made his 2 Phoenixes. He's continuing the production as well. Not banking up that many minerals, of course, because you did only produce 1 Void Ray last time, and a Void Ray costs 250 minerals, 150 gas, but that's it. You know, that's all he produced. Every one of these Phoenixes is 150 minerals, 100 gas, so it's a much more significant investment he's already made. Total of 450 minerals, 300 gas. Now, actually, with a 4th one coming out, he'll be able to start putting on some pressure, but it's going to be much harder to execute a strong 8-gate like we saw last time, an 8-gate +1 switch. HyuN, though, he decides that, you know what, I'm feeling pretty safe. I'm making a round of speedlings. I'll make sure that I can attack anything that's coming out of me, but I saw you made Phoenixes, so here's a 4th base, here's Infestation Pit. I'm just going to play towards late game tech, and that's what a lot of Zerg players have been doing expertly on this map. Take the entire half of the map, sit back on tier 3 tech, and make a Protoss player kill themselves on their stuff.
Yeah, that's a really, really good reaction here out of HyuN, of course. You know, the Phoenix really, they need to intercept the drone as it's going out. Otherwise, there's just nothing you can do about the fact that the Zerg took a 4th. You're not going to be pushing out in the next couple of minutes. You put too much money into this tech round. And in fact, behind this, we see that Finale has both gone for a Robotics as well as a Twilight Council. So some serious tech investments here out of the MVP Protoss. TSL HyuN going to be playing with some extreme greed to capitalize on it.
Yes, he is. And these, well, I guess Zerglings are going to die. Not the most efficient use of energy from Phoenixes, but if you don't feel you can duck into the mineral lines, which are very well protected, it can be annoying. And it's actually going to delay the destructible rocks actually being knocked down while he moves off to the left-hand side. So certainly could provide him a little advantage. And it looks like he's going to occupy the attention of a lot of these units for a while, trying to pick off queens while the rest of his units get in position off of the 6-gate +1 push.
Oh, and the rocks break just in time. Units able to make the cut across. Roaches and Speedless Lynx currently on the field for HyuN here. He does have +1 nearing completion, and also noteworthy, Pathogen Glance is almost done, but he didn't start up any Infestors, even though he has 700 gas. Infestors are fantastic against the sentry-heavy compositions that Finale favors, but in this situation, Finale has actually opted to get Blink. We see he's got a 3rd and a Robotics Bay. I love this fake pressure out of Finale. It is so convincing, and HyuN, we saw a lot of extra roaches made, and now he goes, oh, you're actually not attacking me.
And HyuN, as I pointed out, was supply blocked during that. So at the time when he wanted to make, he had to make 3 Overlords. At the time when he wanted to put out a bunch of, well, anything, it didn't really matter. But unfortunately for him, he had to sit back and make those 3 Overlords and wait and wait and wait. Now things are a little bit more freed up for him. Finale, on the other hand, you know, he does have, let's see, a total of, what is this going to be, 9 gates? Yeah, 9 gates so far, Robotics Bay, multiple upgrades. Everything's hitting at about the right time for him. He offered himself some flexibility, though, as he continues to do damage with these Phoenixes. Hasn't actually lost one yet. He offered himself a little bit of flexibility. So he had the forward pylon and 6 gates with +1. That's not a small push. And if he had detected any sort of weakness out of his opponent, he still could have reinforced it and continued to pressure and didn't have to take his 3rd. So he sacrifices just a bit of economy, letting that behind a bit, but otherwise, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's that discussion we always talk about in balanced versus greed. And, you know, HyuN definitely with a little bit of an advantage right now, as he did play really, really greedy, and Finale's played fairly balanced here.
Yeah.
But at this point, I mean, we got Spire on the way, Carapace, Colossi, all sorts of things going down that are actually going to make for some very, very interesting developments because of what techs are going to be on the field.
And you mentioned that balance play, and this is kind of the stereotypical map for that, you know? Players will play economically greedy, but they have to watch out for the possibility of strong all-ins. And, oh, those Phoenixes could have picked up that drone that was making this hatchery here. So, and we saw that kind of out of both players. HyuN gave himself a position where, oh, I can make a lot of roaches and speedlings if I need to defend, even though I'm going to a 4th base. And Finale was the same way. I'm not going to do this off of just 3 gateways. I'm going to get 6 gateways and +1 before I expand. But I'll make sure that it's a much more balanced approach.
Yeah, absolutely. And even a little bit balanced on the aggressive side, which is definitely Finale's comfort zone. You know, it's where he likes. That's his balanced.
Yes, you are 100% correct.
So HyuN's Overseer is going to get caught here, guys, by some Phoenix. He's being very mobile out on the map because he is sitting at 192 supply. We'll see if he's going to make a push here to attack against Finale, maybe throw some units, as his Hive is currently halfway done. Only 50 seconds left on that sucker before he can start a Greater Spire and start working on his Broodlords. Maybe we're going to see some Spine Crawlers go down, as the creep spread is also appropriate for that. And he just needs to push a little bit of an attack here to clean up some supply.
Yes, and he will put pressure on this 4th base. It's timing nicely with that, so we'll see how much damage he can do to this army. I've got to say, Finale has been doing a spectacular job of not just investing in his infrastructure. We see Fleet Beacon coming up. He's already got Archons. His upgrades are looking great, but he's got a 4th base and a huge army sitting around. So I really am impressed with Finale's play this game. If he can hold this off, he's going to be in a magnificent position, but the question is, can he hold this off?
Well, we're going to find out. The force fields, look at these force fields isolating the Infestors in the back. They're forced to throw down Infested Terrans. Finale can fall back from this. He's got room. He's not pressed up against his 4th quite yet. The Infested Terrans now going to have to waddle their way forwards to get back into the action. Zealots have all melted at this point, though. HyuN battering down the doors with 185 supply. Fungal growth going down on the Blink Stalkers, so they can't get back away from these Infested Terrans, which are now hatching, doing tons of damage. HyuN really pressing things down here, but he's running out of actual units. You see the Infested Terrans are falling. The Roach count is very small. He's going to pull back with his Corruptors, and now he's sitting on a nice bank, so he can make some reinforcement units here, but definitely a very nice hold for Finale, who has a lot of tech structures that just finished, a 4th base, and his 3rd's almost done.
And he's got a mothership on the way. So things are looking pretty good. He's going to need to hold one more follow-up. It's not usually in HyuN's nature to make one push and they go, okay, all right, that was a thing. I'll sit back, I'll take the rest of the map, and we'll kind of go from there. He's making a strong round of Zerglings. He had the money to do so. Going up to 5 bases. A little surprised he didn't cut a few of those Zerglings and just go for the 6th and 7th base, at the same time trying to do a couple of Ling run-bys. But that being said, he's still looking in a pretty good spot. If he would go now, there's no splash damage whatsoever out for Finale at the moment.
Yeah, High Templar just now starting to hit the field. You're completely right about that, Kevin. Now, Zealots do fare decently well against Zerglings, but the positioning is honestly really important. It's not something you want to rely on. Storms are extremely helpful. We'll see. He can also, oh, excuse me, he doesn't. He does land feedbacks on the Infestors. Fungal growth still going down. Tons of Infested Terrans here, but look at the wall of units here for Finale, preventing the Zerglings in from getting any melee damage. Even the Infested Terrans actually working against HyuN here in some ways, because those Zerglings not able to get in against the Stalkers. Finale should be able to hold this. The Infested Terrans really providing the only sustained damage here left for HyuN.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he holds it, he loses his whole army again, but he actually delays to restart Colossus production and eventually his mothership. So you're right, he takes a little bit of damage here that he holds without taking that much economic damage. He's only lost 5 workers, and I actually take that back. Workers killed, that's actually Finale has done the economic damage. So he has actually not lost a single worker. I'm a little bit staggered about that. So
actually, what was that worker count we just had pulled up?
70 to 73.
Wow, so HyuN definitely, catching some Stalkers out in the middle of the map. Finale, he can't afford those things. He's got so many workers, not enough army.
He actually looked good up until a second ago. He's still not terrible. I mean, losing 8 Stalkers is not going to make or break this game, but you know, he has the Colossi, he has the splash damage, and he importantly has a mothership that's accumulating energy now and still sitting on a 4-base economy and continually warping in units.
Yeah.
So he still has a strong force, but HyuN's being HyuN, and he just keeps pressing at every juncture here in this game. 16 Infestors now. Oh no, oh no.
Well, HyuN investing some serious money. If we take a look, he's actually got a lot of gas, but not a ton of minerals. Now, he is getting here and doing some damage to the Zealots. The Zerglings in the main are just killing some gateways. Finally, he's getting some probes. There we go. That's what HyuN needs to be doing if he's going to get into this base, because Finale, honestly, can afford to be throwing away armies, but now this second Nexus may even fall, and Finale is looking like he may be falling apart at the seams, Kevin.
Okay, good reaction though with the mothership. He gets over the top of the Nexus. There's no Overseers to be found, so we can't hold on to this for a while, but at the same time, those Infestors duck right back and start doing damage over here off to the 4th. And the Archon's actually taking some significant damage here. Looks like the Photon Cannons are going to be able to delay for a while, but it's not going to be enough. These Infested Terrans could start doing a bit of damage. This Nexus just about to fall too. He's finally regenerating some of the shields on the first one, and it's down to just 70 hit points. Doesn't matter. Finale GG's, and HyuN takes game number 2 in a very classic HyuN style there, never really letting up off the gas pedal and just continually attacking.
Yeah, it seems like HyuN just keeps ducking in and out, waiting for Finale to mess up his reaction. One of the things I'm noticing here from Finale that's pretty blatant is that he can completely be caught in what he's doing and not paying attention. For instance, a simple Zealot warp in would have stopped all of that.
Yeah.
All of those Zerglings from getting inside. And that cost him the game completely, 100%.
Yeah.
And like if he had not missed his Zealot warp in, he would have been okay.
Yeah, he could have actually held that. He had enough splash damage in his army that with the Mothership overhead, I think he could have isolated everything long enough, kept the Mothership alive, and stabilized on some pretty high-tech units.
Yeah.
But didn't have that so much as a thing.
He was actually using a playstyle there really similar to Puzzle. Puzzle is a really big fan of actually almost out-macroing Zerg sometimes, having more workers than they do, but just having massive amounts of bases, huge quantities of workers, and then reinforcing wave after wave after wave after wave of Protoss, because you actually, if you have a big enough economy, you can do it. Trying to do that in that game, but just caught again. Caught again. Wow, Finale. Down 0-2 right now against HyuN. A lot of people, I bet, aren't very surprised, but
you are a little bit.
I am.
Okay, it's only 2 games though. You know, Finale still has up to 7 ahead of him, depending on how well he does. This is a long best-of scenario. HyuN's just kind of got the momentum going in his favor right now. We though are going to run to a quick commercial break. While you're away, don't forget that we do have these awesome Gunner glasses that are being sent to us by our friends over at Gunner, and so this is part of our actually 12 giveaways to 2013 promotion. So U.S. residents can enter that link above, IGN.com/IPL giveaways. We'll have a series of giveaways of a bunch of different gear, some very cool, ridiculous prizes coming up towards the end of that promotion as well. So you'll want to keep your eyes there, IGN.com/IPL giveaways.
Absolutely, guys. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break with some more awesome StarCraft 2 action. Are things going to get lined up a little bit more? Is the series going to be even, or is HyuN just going to pull a 5-0 sweep? We're going to find out